When you finally heard that voice and knew it finally called for you and what it was saying, where were you? Were you in the shower, wet and soapy, or chopping cabbage late for dinner? Were you planting radish seeds or seeking one lost sock? Maybe wiping handprints off a window or coaxing words into a sentence, or coming upon a hyacinth or one last no. Where were you when you heard that ancient voice? And did yes get born right then? And did you weep? Had it called you since before you even were? And when you knew that, did your joy escape all holding? Where were you when you heard that calling voice? And how, in that moment, did you mark it? How, ever after, are you changed? Tell us, please, all you can about that voice. Teach us how to listen, how to hear. Teach us all you can of saying yes. As a minister, you quickly make peace with the fact that you will be asked to answer a myriad of very different and very important questions on a daily basis. Ironically, at least for my experience as a UU minister, a large majority of them have to do with interpreting the Bible. Go figure, I guess. Occasionally, I will inevitably get asked what the meaning of life is, which I keep telling people is, in fact, 42, although no one seems to believe me. But I am well aware, after nearly 3 years as your minister, that the burning desire that you all have weighing heavy on your minds and hearts is just what exactly a group of seminarians does when they meet each other for the very first time. I became all too familiar with this ritual during my time at Bright, and I came to find that two seminarians meeting each other for the first time takes the form of four important questions: who you are, where you are from, what denomination you are, and most importantly, and the main question that they are seeking an answer to, what is your call story? For those of you who do not speak mainline Protestant Christianity, a call story is the story of your calling. What was the experience that you had, or what was it that convinced or helped you to make the decision to pursue seminary that brought you to that moment? What you find talking to people is that everyone's calling came under different circumstances and took many different forms. Some people, especially those who came from a family of ministers and pastors, knew that this was always something that they wanted to do, and it was less of a calling and more of a logical progression of things. Some people in seminary arrived not even sure of their calling or if they had been truly called. They were usually people who had worked in corporate America for most of their life and had come to a point where they were burned out and disillusioned, with them feeling like their lives needed to make a change. For them, their calling was a nagging desire or curiosity to dive deeper into exploring theology, not even entirely sure of what they would find, but eager to learn and know more. For others, it was a friend or relative casually blurting out, "You should go to seminary," that made them think, why not? For many people at Bright, which I affectionately refer to as the Seminary of Misfit Toys, their calling came from the fact that they were told that they could not do ministry for a variety of reasons. They were a woman, they were queer, they were too old, they were too young, or one last no. That took many different forms and was expressed many different ways. My own calling took the form of a conversation that happened in an IHOP in Texas City, Texas at 11:30 at night on the way back from home from spending Valentine's Day weekend in Galveston and being asked by my then fiance, now spouse, what would make you happy? And being surprised myself as I blurted out the words ministry. The profound notion of calling speaks to those whispers of destiny that beckon us towards purpose, towards fulfillment, towards a deeper understanding of ourselves and our place in the world. Throughout our journeys, both those we travel individually and together, we encounter the various forms of calling that grace our lives and confront us to ponder them and the transformative power that awaits us by saying yes to these sacred invitations. Nancy Schaeffer's poignant poem, Calling, serves as our guiding light. Through her words, we are invited to reflect on the moments when we have heard that ancient voice, when we have felt the tug of destiny, and when we have embraced the callings that shape our lives. She also perfectly illustrates for us how even the most mundane of experiences can be the setting for our callings, or the perspectives that suddenly make everything make sense. From taking a shower to chopping cabbage, to radish seeds, to the sting of being told, no, you cannot. The feeling of being called to something is a powerful experience and can bring forth a multitude of deep emotions. There are many different types of callings that weave themselves into the tapestry of our existence. Some callings come as a whisper in the night, igniting a fire within our souls. It is the passion that drives an artist to create, a musician to compose, or a scientist to seek truth in the mysteries of the universe. When we hear this calling, we feel alive, connected to something greater than ourselves. Other callings beckon us to serve, to lend a hand to those in need, and to make a positive impact on the world. It is the calling of the nurse who tends to the sick, the teacher who nurtures young minds, or the activist who fights for justice. When we heed this calling, we find meaning in lifting others up and fostering a more compassionate society. Sometimes our callings manifest in the form of relationships, the call to be a loving partner, a devoted parent, a loyal friend, or someone that lets others know that they are not alone. It is the calling that binds us to one another in shared joy and sorrow, in laughter and tears. When we answer this calling, we cultivate deep connections that sustain us through the trials and triumphs of life. At other times, our callings lead us on a journey of self-discovery, prompting us to explore our innermost depths and uncover our truest selves. It is the calling that invites us to embrace our strengths and weaknesses, our passions and fears, our light and shadow. When we accept this calling, we embark on a quest for authenticity and wholeness. As we reflect on these diverse manifestations of calling, let us turn our attention to the sacred art of listening, for it is through attentive ears and open hearts that we discern those still, small voices. Listening to our callings requires a quieting of the mind, a tuning into the rhythms of our innermost being. It is about creating space for reflection, for contemplation, for communion with the divine. Whether in moments of stillness or amidst the chaos of everyday life, may we cultivate the presence of mind to hear the voice that calls us onward. But listening alone is not enough, for true transformation occurs when we move beyond hearing to action, when we dare to say yes to the invitations that beckon us forward. Saying yes to our callings requires courage, the courage to step into the unknown, to embrace vulnerability, to surrender to the currents of destiny. It is a leap of faith into the abyss of possibility, trusting that the path will unfold before us as we journey forth. And when we say yes to our callings, we are forever changed, transformed by the power of purpose, by the richness of meaning, by the beauty of a life lived in alignment with our deepest truths. As we conclude our time together, let us carry forth the wisdom of listening, of hearing, and of saying yes. May we continue to heed the callings that grace our lives, and may we walk boldly into the future, guided by the words of purpose that echo in our hearts. I challenge you to reflect on your own callings, maybe even the ones that brought you here to this very place, and be willing to possibly connect to others by sharing those experiences. And I would also challenge yourself to reflect and ask yourself in the ways in which you are still being called and to what it is that is calling you. For the beautiful thing is, just like the saying yes that Nancy Schaefer alludes to in her meditation, callings are not a one-time experience. We are still being called to things, whether we are aware of it yet or not. And may we mark these moments with joy and gratitude, knowing that in embracing our callings, we embrace the fullness of our humanity. Blessings to you all on your journey of listening, hearing, and saying yes. May it ever continue to be so. Blessed be. Amen. Shalom. Assalamu alaikum. Namaste. Thank you all so much.